Hello Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with Thru Gamer Goggles, and today we're going to do a playthrough review of Odin's Ravens. Odin's Ravens is being re-released by Osprey Games back in mid-2000s. It was early to mid-2000s. It was kickstarted and somehow, somewhere, funding fell apart. Osprey Games is going to make sure that every backer that was in the original Kickstarter gets a copy of the game. It is a racing game where two ravens follow a path around the world. They move in opposite directions of each other, and it's card driven. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shoot right over to the demo, and then we're going to come back for my closing thoughts. See you in a few. Inside Odin's Ravens, if you've seen the box breaking, you already know the contents, so we're not going to go over that now. You have the land cards. We're going to set everything else aside right now, and we're going to real quickly just talk about land cards and how important they are to the game. Well, actually, they set up, the land cards effectively become your board. So you'll set them up like this, and we'll go over setup in a minute. I just want to show you, here we go, we'll do this like this. This is what's the important part about the land cards. It's important to note that these are actually two different pictures. The first time we played, we just called them mountains, hence our Magic the Gathering background. I'd like to point out that we made that mistake when we played the game because they do look similar. And we used cards to move through both. And when we get to gameplay, I'll elaborate on that a little bit more. But these are this is effectively how you create your game board. That is the back. Each player has a deck, and the decks have 25 different land cards in them. And you can't really mix them up because they have different colors, so it's pretty hard to do that. In each deck, each player will have 8 Loki or Trickster cards. I like to call them Loki cards. But basically, the art for the land cards is a full picture instead of being 2 pictures, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. I want to go over the Trickster cards. The Trickster cards can be played once a game. You have 8 cards, and each card may be played once a game. After you play it, it's removed from the game. So this card moves a raven, either player's, forward or backward, depending on which one you choose. Anytime you play a Trickster card, you have 2 options. You only get to use one of the 2 options. This card allows you to either rotate a card 180 degrees, so if you have a land card on the table, you can spin it like so. This one allows you to remove a card from the racing table setup, shortening the path that you have to take. This one, let's see, would allow you to swap or it would allow you to slide it out. And by sliding it out, you effectively would go from here to here, shortening your path by 1. Obviously, this one lets you draw 2 cards. And this one, zoom out just a hair. This one will allow you to play a card here, lengthening the path by 2. Of course, you can play that on the opposite side as well. Now, it's important to note that what happens if you play that and then your opponent maybe plays this and slides it that way. Whatever is played more recently is the card picture that goes on top. And that's it. That's all of those cards. So now, real quick, we're going to set up a game. Generally, when you set up the game, you set it up for 16 cards, but that's going to be pretty long, lengthy, and you're not going to be able to see everything on the table. So I'm just going to do 8, and then we're going to zoom in a little bit closer to it. Now, it's important to note, see, those 2 have the same picture. You would rotate that so the pictures don't match at the start of the game, but it matches again. So you put this one on the bottom of the deck. So yeah, rotate that one so that the forest is next to what I call a canyon now. And then I would rotate that one. It's the same card actually, just flipped. That one can't be used there. That one can. 6. 7, and 8. Now normally, when you would set up your game, it would be 16 long, and as you can see, I'm going to run out of space here. You would put the rest of the deck there. Each player's ravens go there. This raven is going to race down to here, come back this way, and back up. So at the start of the game, each player shuffles their decks. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I'm actually going to turn the deck sideways. I wouldn't normally play this way. But to get it all on the camera, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to shuffle those up. It's hard to shuffle 8 cards, so that's about as good as it's going to get. As you can see, they're different. They're different. This is your Loki decks, and that's your land cards for that player. Oh no. Oh, haha. They're off here. They're over here. I'm like, where'd they go? Just going to kind of shuffle them up a little bit. Since it's a demo, I'm not too concerned about it. And it actually doesn't matter. So, a lot. I mean, the cards are, you have enough cards, it's pretty random. There we go. So each player draws 5 cards in any order they want. If you want to draw all 5 Loki cards, you may. I am going to take 1 for this player. I'm going to flip it over there. And then I'm going to take 4 land. And I'm going to put them here so you can kind of see what the player has. And I'm going to do the same thing with this player. Except he's going to take 2 Loki cards. And he's going to take that. So, I'm going to let the darker player go first. The player on this side is going to go first. And basically, you can see here, the player has no possible moves. You start the game with 5 cards, but the player does have 2 of these. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to use 1 to do that, remove that card from the game. And we're going to do 1 here to do it again. And then the player has the canyon, and he's going to put that in his discard pile, which I'm putting over there. He can move to the canyon. He has a forest, or she has a forest. And that would end the turn for that player. The player would draw 3 cards, and he's going to draw 2 lands and 1 Loki card. That was a pretty good turn. Now keep in mind again, I think I said it, this is about half the actual gameplay size. So if you think this game is fast, well, it is fast, but it's going to be super fast for me. Now, you get to see something unique here, or not so much unique. You can take any 2 land cards and use them to create, like, you can use them like a wild card, effectively. So I'm going to discard those 2, and, oops, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to use what I call the desert mountains. Go there. And then I'm going to discard these 2 to play through the canyon river. Now I'm going to use the plains to go there. Then I'm going to use the Loki card and remove it from the game to draw 2 cards. And you could draw 2 cards in any combination. I can draw 2 lands, or I can draw 1 and 1, or I can draw 2 Loki or 2 Trickster cards. So I drew those 2 cards, and that would end his turn. So he's going to draw 2 land and 1 Trickster card. And then play would pass to the other player. This player has some options, but the first thing the player is going to do is play this for 2 extra cards, the Trickster card for 2 extra cards, and see what happens. He got a canyon, so he's going to discard that. He's going to move to the canyon, or she, and then, oh, wow, okay, so I think that player is going to go ahead and end their turn. 4 cards, you draw 3. The maximum hand size in the game is 7. So he's going to draw 2 land and 1 Trickster card. It's this player's turn. This player has the canyon, so move 1. Has a forest, we'll move 1. Has a plains, or wheat, we'll move 1. I will move these. Or, no, he's going to end his turn. He's going to draw 3 land cards. And then it's this player's turn. This player has a lot of land, can swap stuff, can move one. Okay, this is a good point here. So, well, he has wheat, but whenever you go to do anything with a card on the table, there cannot be a raven on it. So this card right now has effectively immunity from any cards that would target it. So it can't be swapped, it can't be pushed through, can't be taken out of the chain, and 2 of those. So going to use the plains, move to the plains. Going to use one of the snow-capped mountains to move to the snow-capped mountains. Going to push that forward, which effectively shortens the chain here. Remove the Loki card from the, or the Trickster card from the game. Use one of these to go there. Use this land to go here. And end the turn. So, going to draw 1 Loki and 2 land. Now, whoever goes first to, well, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute. So now it's the White Raven's turn. Really, so the White Raven is going to use 2 snow caps to create the canyon. Then the deserty mountain one to move over here. Start to trip back. And we'll draw 3 land to end the turn. And it falls to this player has the plains. We'll move there. Has this card, which will either swap to or make the chain shorter. Make the chain... Oh, you didn't get to see that. But we'll do that here in a minute. We'll make that happen. I think this player is just going to use 2 cards to move out of the forest. End the turn. And then draw up. Going to draw 3 lands because it's approaching the end of the game. This player is going to use... Not going to use yet. Going to wait. Okay, this is where it gets a little hairy. You can either use the 2 forests, which he needs 2 over here, but he's just going to go ahead and draw 3 cards. And have to discard 1. Oops, that's the wrong pile. He draws 3 cards and has to discard 1. So there's 2 of those there, 1 of those there, and 1 plains. So how's he going to make this work? Okay, he has a plan. He's going to get rid of 1 of these. And we'll come back, you'll see that how that plays in a second. And now it's this player's turn. This player is, well, maybe this player is going to play into his plan. Wow, this player's kind of stuck. This player is stuck unless he's got that. Gonna do that. Then I'll swap those two. Use that to go there. Get rid of the Loki, the Trickster card. That will end the turn. Going to draw 2 and 1. He may have made a mistake. He did make it. No, maybe not. 2 to move to the mountain, the plains. He's going to use the Loki card to... Does it help him? Doesn't really help him. To push that up. I know that seems odd, but I want to show you this. He's going to play the one with the canyon, and what happens when you play one that is of the land type, you move to the farthest, you move all the way through them all. So what he was going to do before they swapped is he was going to push that one up and be up 3 and be caught up. And he's going to play that. It's a tie game. Can't do anything with that. He's going to draw 3 cards. All 2 will be land and 1 will be the Trickster card. Not the Trickster card he was hoping to get, I believe, but that's the way it happens. So this player has rotate and take 1 out. Taking 1 out may be the way to go. So there's that. Oh, doesn't matter. He's going to rotate it, I think. So it goes like so. He's going to use the forest to move on to that. The 2 there. And okay, the dark player went first. So the white player has a chance to catch and end on the game. So effectively this player gets to draw up the 3 cards. Draw 3 land. This player has both of those. So boom, makes it currently a tie game. So we move into a tiebreaker. He ends his turn actually and draws 3 cards. And the tiebreaker is the player who has the most cards in hand wins the game. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. The White Raven wins the race. Pretty straightforward game. I hope you enjoyed this demo. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments. Sometimes when I demo I make a mistake. If you caught something that was wrong, let me know. Something I didn't cover that I wanted to cover was, let's say you slide a card out like this, okay, and then you use the Loki card that makes the path longer, which would be this bottom one here. We'll zoom in on that. Which is the bottom one. So basically there's a couple different ways this can work. You can go, well, let's use one that's a little different. You can do that, and that would make the player coming from here have to go up this way, or you have to follow. This is the path now. But let's say the player does this and slides the card. This would go over top. Now, I suppose if you play the card the other way and that one's last, you do it that way. I'll be right back with my closing thoughts in just a second. As you can see, Odin's Ravens plays really fast. Of course, that was half the game, but still, I think that video was a total of 10 minutes long. It's easy to learn. You could probably teach your 5-year-old. Well, maybe not a 5-year-old, but definitely first, second graders could pick up this game and play it. One of the things I like about it is it's small. If you take it out of the box, you can easily carry this with you to a convention or a Magic tournament and whatever. It's a great game to play in between rounds. It's something like that. It's refreshing. It's light. It's a different type of thinking, so it gives your mind a break and it refreshes you for the next event or tournament. Now, at a convention, this is perfect for like having a cup of coffee with a guy in the morning and starting your day off playing a game with some light thinking. Just to play the game, sit down and play the game. It's fast, it's simple enough, and it's light. To me, it's just a refreshing game. It's, you know, I don't really have a lot to say bad to it. I've played it about 10 times, and the only thing that I found that can be bad is luck of the draw. And anytime you play a card game, you can have that problem. So I understand why it's in the top 200 games on Board Game Geek. It's so simple. It's stupid simple and refreshingly tactical. I mean, there's not a lot of thought that goes into it, but it's like, oh, you can overthink it if you're not careful because, boom. With the Trickster cards, there's only one Trickster card that I haven't used in 10 games, or I should say one Trickster option, and that's the option of playing the extra land card to make their path longer by 2. It's never seemed beneficial to me because I almost always get it early game. So it's like, I can do that or I can do that, and this is a lot more beneficial to me rather than making myself have a longer path and them having a longer path. But anyway, you know, it's Odin's Ravens. It's top 200 games of Board Game Geek. I think when I started filming this stuff, it was around 155. I don't know how often it changes. I don't follow it well enough. But Osprey Games has it for you. Thanks for watching and have a good day.